Go to.
I went to Crenshaw High, class of 1984.
Fremont. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cougars. When Marquise opened up to me about things that he did when he was young, I had to let him know. I tried smoking a joint when I was 16, 17 years old. I tried it before. I'm one of those parents that I never done it. Yes, I did. And like I said, my cousins and friends, it was something that we experimented with. And, on a regular basis, I'm not going to lie, it was something that was just that we did. So.
All right, what's up again, y'all? It's Marquis back with Marquis Plus 3. I have a very special guest today. I brought my mother. So please give some love to my mother in the comments below. So, today we're going to get straight to it. The topic of conversation today is the importance of communication with your children because, I noticed something, when I posted her happy birthday blessing that we gave her yesterday on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of love came back, and I was reading through some of the comments, and some of you made comments such as, your mother raised a really good son, she did a good job, and so on and so forth. And I can't take the credit for that, so I just wanted y'all to hear directly from the lady who planted those seeds inside of me to be the person that I am today. And a lot of that had to do with the foundation of communication. And if you don't have the ability to communicate and communicate effectively, relationships tend to suffer. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So, mother dear, mama, why do you think communication is important especially when you're raising a child, especially in today's age?
First and foremost, I personally believe that you have to have a spiritual foundation, first of all. In the era I grew up, born in the 60s, thank God I am blessed to see age 54 and see my five grandchildren.
I told you she looked like my sister, though, right? You see that 54? But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're crazy. My son giving me props. Thank you, honey. I wasn't perfect, but I grew up in the era where I was blessed to see my great grandmother. Well, my grandparents are no longer here. Strong foundation because they're from the South. And they moved into the city, California, from Mississippi to California, and with the background of family, being family orientated. We had at my grandparents' home, everybody, all the family members came there on Sundays after church, and we commune with each other. And all the grandchildren, it would be at one time, it'd be 10 to 15 of us at grandmother's house, well, aka Big Mama house nowadays. The children call it now.
Big Mama Medea.
Yeah. And we would be there, and cousins and the neighborhood children. That was a house that everybody was at, but they knew that house was called. That's where the house where those are church people house because we were in church all the time. I mean, Sunday, from 9 o'clock to like 4. Tuesdays, Bible study. Wednesday, Bible study. Friday, fellowship Bible study. Saturday, choir practice. We stayed in church, and we were called they called us the church children. But look at us. The reason why I say that we have to have a spiritual, as a people, foundation to incorporate that with raising children. And because if we don't have the Most High, aka God, in our lives to help us stay focused and grounded, there's no way that we will be the parents that we need to be.
I hear
because
that.
first of all, the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
God, is our parent.
Ain't that
And
the truth?
we have to be obedient to Him. We have to be, especially with the way the world is today. And which means that when we do wrong or when we don't listen to Him, He disciplines us in various ways where we expect things to be a certain way, go for us a certain way. Why? I wonder why this happened. Why did it happen? Because we wasn't obedient.
And the Bible says what? He chastens those whom he loves, right?
That's right.
So yeah.
And humanly, as parents, we say we love our children, but
When it comes down to the chastising, that's when the things get kind of, the lines get blurred, and
kind of complicated as what young people would say
we're not
today.
saying, we're not advocating for abusing and all that other type of stuff, but chastening comes in a multitude of different forms,
Scripture says, what the Scripture says about that.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
What you say? Say it again, Marquis.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
And nowadays, that's called child abuse today. The authorities, they don't want us to discipline our children. You know why? Because they want to keep them institutionalized. Keep them where these children are talking back to their parents, beating up, putting their hands on their parents. We didn't do that in my era growing up. We couldn't do. We wouldn't even. Today, as you guys all young people know that I'm 54. My mother's still here. She'll be 80. God bless, in December of this year. I still to this day will not talk back to my mother. I have respect for my mother.
Respect goes a long way. So let's kind of go into that. So as you seen, you said that you were able to see your great grandmother, right? And so basically, just so to clarify for the people, it was some type of structure from the generation from great grandmother, your grandmother, from your mother. So do you feel that the lack of, families coming together has a direct effect, a direct correlation between the communication between children and parents? Because I had the blessing to see my great grandmother as well, your grandmother, and I had 17 years with her, and it was just certain things that just didn't go down in Granny house, and then it was the respect that Grandpa had. So by the time I'm dealing with with you on a day-to-day basis, I know darn well not to deal with you or say something to you, even if I call myself copping the attitude and looking at you a crazy way. It's just like, that wasn't acceptable. So do you think that the lack of families being together, like in a tribal perspective, like we once were, has an effect on why it's a lack of respect between child and parent to this day?
I definitely do believe that has a big effect on how we view life today, in the world that we live in today. We're not... Scripture says, God says, how can you love me that you've never seen, and you hate your brother who you see, who you've seen? Those are not the exact words, but those of you that you know what I'm talking about. So I said that in regards to when it comes down to love, I do believe, and some people love it's a feeling, but I also, me personally, believe it's a act.
It's an act.
It's an act.
It's an act. Yeah.
And of course, as parents, we're supposed to love our children, and to love our children, we have to discipline them. We have to show them love. We have to let them know why we discipline them, why we love them. A lot of families don't give each other hugs and kisses anymore. The way we did in my era growing up. And children, nothing hasn't changed. It's the same. God said He changed not. He's the same from the beginning to the end. So therefore, we have to keep doing what's right.
And so let's talk about that. So specifically, we don't want y'all to feel that we're talking about, like, for instance, I could count the times that on my hand that my mama wasn't like abusing me or anything of the sort, but discipline comes in many forms. And love, like you said, is just not a feeling to say, okay, hey, I love you. Like, so basically, if she was, hey, boy, go in your room and let me get this. At the time, maybe been Super Nintendo. You can't play that for a while. It's the correction, because at the end of the day, if I didn't get that correction from moms, I would have more than likely felt confident to disrespect another adult or elder out in the street. And when we're coming from the communal aspect of things, that word travels, and you don't want to shame your folks. You don't want to, because at the end of the day, everybody knew everybody. So we're, bringing it back to the communal aspect, the tribal aspect of things. But like I said, it wasn't like, I was getting slapped upside my head every 30 seconds or anything of that nature. But it's just that those foundations was laid to now when it's time to communicate, I had a full idea of, okay, certain things is not acceptable, even if I was frustrated. And that's what I would definitely want to jump into right now. My mother gave me the opportunity to, within reason, to voice how I felt, but within reason. So I just can't, I don't like the fact that you made me wash dishes. It's just, I had the smart stuff like, Mom, why I gotta wash these dishes?
Which was rare.
Okay. But I'll definitely say this. It was very, very, very important to know that okay, especially I don't want to say in just the Black community, but just communities in general, that children feel the need to not understand why they were doing things, because some of us probably grew up in the frame of do as I say, don't ask no questions, be seen, not heard, and all of that is good. But I can honestly say this lady gave me that freedom to just give me a understanding as to why, to I guess curb my curiosity to keep me on point. So with that said, back in the day, in the 90s, we used to go to breakfast every single day. I want to say in junior high school, because I was on the track system, so I was out of school while other children was in school. So what would you say the importance of communing together and eating together, how it I guess enforce good conversation or good communication between us?
Well, in our situation, when we would go to breakfast, most of the time Marquise would ask me a lot of questions. And it's very important for children to ask questions, and for parents or adults to answer the questions truthfully within means.
Yeah, right.
Marquise would ask questions about different people, family members, and I would go more in depth about different family members. And Marquise was wise beyond his years. Put it like that. When I was pregnant with Marquise in Germany, I was in the military. I was stationed in Germany. My grandmother had passed away in California, and I had a dream, and my grandmother came to me in this dream, and she revealed to me that the child that I was carrying, I didn't have nothing to worry about. He was going to be a goodly child. He was going to be a goodly child, and that he was going to be a servant to the Most High. And every now and again, I would recall having this dream and hearing my grandmother say these words to me about Marquise, and it all falls in place with the young man that he has become, and the father and the husband that he has become today. And it puts a big smile on my face that, my grandma, she did reveal this to me when I was pregnant. I do believe I was about 6 months pregnant when she passed away in 1986. Yes. And
yeah, I'm 34, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Oops.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
But with that being said, you have to communicate with your children. It starts from young. Don't leave it up to the teachers. Don't leave it up to Auntie June or Uncle Jack, or cousin Tawan. No, don't leave it to none of those people, because it all starts. Don't leave it to the kindergarten teacher, the first grade teacher, or the 7th grade teacher, English teacher. It's not their job to do that.
Ain't their job.
It starts at home. And as parents, we tend to want to point the finger at everybody else on how the children turn out. But when they become big and successful, then we want to say, oh,
that's
I
my
know,
baby
that's my
right
baby.
there.
That's my baby.
And you know what, you bring up an interesting point. If you're gonna be responsible, you have to be responsible across the board, right? You have to take the good and the not so good. And you know what? Let's talk about it, because I'm not gonna sit back here in front. I did a lot of things on. I kept quiet what I did, but I'm gonna.
And I didn't know a lot of things until years later.
But certain things, when I don't want to be like going in specifics because I don't want to lose the point of what we're talking about. But there were some hard questions that you asked me when I was 15, when I was 16. Was I participating in this? Was I indulging in this?
Yeah.
And I was truthful.
Yeah.
I was truthful. The details she found out as far as like how it went down and who it went down with later on, it was like further down the years. But when she asked me, hey, were you participating in this and indulging in this? Yes, mama, I was. I'll never forget that. One time when I was in ninth grade, one time when I was in 10th grade, but I will say this: that communication from eating breakfast every day and feeling confident to talk to my moms, it made me value not lying to her more than anything. Because one thing that my mother said is that if I lied to her, that she'll never 100% trust me again. And I'm like,
true.
So that weighed on my spirit heavy. So it's like, all right, I'd rather tell you the truth, even though I'm not proud about what I was doing, as opposed to just now, years later, my 30s, talking to her, she always have in the back of her mind that this fool may be lying, So I'm like, we ain't got time for that. So I always value keeping it one, because my mother kept it 100 with me, and literally, and it helped me navigate things that I went through in high school, because high school, it becomes this gap, but now my mother and I didn't have that gap because she planted those seeds and stuff of that nature. So I want to, I share the good, the bad, the ugly, and different. But one thing that maintained was we stayed solid with each other through a lot of different changes and stuff. So I like to thank you for not making me feel like bad for the not so cool decisions that I made, but at the same time giving me the confidence to still be like, you gave me the confidence to make the best decision I could, considering the fact of things that I was doing.
I tried, Marquis, because my parents, your grandparents, they didn't talk to us. They didn't really communicate. In the 60s and 70s and in the early 80s, parents didn't really. Well, my parents didn't communicate, talk to us. They talked at us.
It's a difference.
You got to do this. You got to do that. It's not. What do you think about doing this, or what do you think about doing that?
And that changes everything.
My way or no way.
That changes everything because it gives you some ownership.
Yeah. And that didn't happen with my siblings and cousins. And I do believe that's the reason why a lot of decisions were made, because we didn't know. We just did things because we were going into the military. I didn't want to go into the military. I wanted to go to college.
And let's talk about that real quick, because I want to make it real. I guess bring it home to y'all. What high school did you go to?
I went to Crenshaw High, class of 1984.
Fremont. I don't know what you talking about. Man, Pathfinders. So no, we don't. This is because anybody that know from LA, Crenshaw, Fremont, But at the end of it, I still love her. I mean, I can't fault her for being a cougar, but
that's
still,
what area we live.
It's still Pathfinder on mine. But but go ahead, it's good.
Yes, and it's very important because of us communicating. Now Marquise has my youngest daughter. She's about to be 18 next month, and she was really sheltered. She didn't have the experience like Marquise, Mariano, and Mark, like her brothers had, as far as the upbringing that she had.
Because it's a difference between you raising 3 boys, especially in Southern California, and then a girl. And I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. When I was a little boy, I was nice, but I still was a little boy, So so you gotta protect the little princesses, the queens,
And it's like a 17-year age difference from Marquise and my daughter, his little sister, and so Marquise is kind of like. Really, she was like, how should I say it?
Let's just keep it real.
Like his little, like a daughter to him, because he had her carry her around when his friends would come around, little female friends, and oh, she's so cute, oh, you know. So I think Marquise kind of used that to his advantage by having this little sister, you know, she looking like a little baby doll, you know. But once again, not trying to get too far off track the subject, but I didn't have the opportunity to make decisions like the children, like Marquise had, you know. It was my parents' way or no way, in which I went. Once again, I went into the military, and you know, things happened the way it happened. Was able to travel the world, see other people, you know, got married young the first time, you know, around, you know, I don't know if you know, I'm being real with you guys out there, but you know, I'm married again, and you know, I have a total of 4 children, and they're all different. But I know that my children, in a good way, my children can always come back to me.
Yeah.
Because I had a relationship where I made them feel comfortable.
Yes.
With talking to me, you know. And when Marquise opened up to me about things that he did when he was young, I had to let him know. Oh yeah, I tried smoking a joint when I was 16, 17 years old. Yeah, I've been there, done that. That was before the military. But I tried it before. I'm one of those parents that I never done it. Yes, I did. And like I said, my cousins and friends, it was something that we experimented with, and you know, on a regular basis. I'm not gonna lie, it was something that was just that we did, so, you know, with each other.
Not to cut you, but you bring up an interesting point, because you were transparent with me about what you did, is like, okay, you know, it made me, it humanized you, because I feel like, especially at going back in that time, talking amongst my friends and everything, or people that I grew up with, is that a lot of children, a lot of youth have a skewed viewpoint on their parents, like they superheroes, and sometimes these parents, they act like that they wasn't a child once before and did childish things. And it's just like, now when we get a chance to our turn to, you know, when social pressures may come on us about smoking, drinking, keeping 100, being sexually active, you know, the whole 9 yards, we carry that burden on our own. But you shared with me, you gave me the whole spectrum, you kept it real with me. And now with that, I'm not saying that, you know, if I have, you know, Apple is 7, Nina is soon to be 5, and Relly soon to be 3, but I had to realize this with Apple. There's, for instance, you go outside, we live in Southern California, you go outside, you're gonna smell weed. So it's up for me to tell Apple, yeah, that's weed. It's still, you know, it's just, it still could be looked upon as a taboo thing, like, oh yeah, that's weed. And and it's better for me to tell her than another child tells her, and then they give her a whole other skewed perspective on what it is. So it's up to me to keep 100. But again, you kept the 100 with me at an early age. So now it's just like, when I'm out and about, I seem like I'm not saying the wisest one amongst my my peers, but I had more of a foundation to say, okay, you know what, yeah, mom's told me about this, mom's told me about that, mom's told me to protect myself when, you know, if I have to do this, that, and the third, and it definitely gave me the confidence just to make better decisions, because going back to the conversation is that the communication was real, the communication was authentic, the communication was genuine, and I felt confident, like, you know what, even if I did slip up, like, you know, I could go to you instead of, you know, running and hiding and so on and so forth, whatever.
Yeah. Yes. As a parent, you know, in my perspective, is that we have to keep that, because no matter how old our children get, they're gonna be our children. We're gonna look at them as our child. They can be 50. My mom once again, she'll be 80 in December. She don't look like it, but she'll be 80 in December. And, you know, that's still mom, you know, I'm still her child. And sometimes I have to let her know that, you know, when we would kind of, you know, step on each other's toes, like, look, Ma, you know, which is rare. I'm not gonna lie, I hold a lot of things out. I still have respect for my mom, no matter what, because without her, I wouldn't be here, and my children wouldn't be here, and my children's children wouldn't be here. So therefore, I'm not going to get too long-winded, but it's very important as parents, more now than ever, because the way the world is, and with social media just being in charge of our children. And now with this COVID-19, the babies, the young children from 4 on up, they're on social media to do their classwork, and it's just totally different. It's from the time when we were going to school. It's just different.
That's a fact.
We have to be hands on. I know some of you parents out there, things seem like
it's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But we have to persevere,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to stay focused and tell your children you love them, give them hugs, give them kisses regularly, daily.
Yeah.
Those of us that are praying parents, continue to pray, not day and night, but throughout the day, whenever you think about it. And as we would see sometime on billboards, prayer changes everything. It does. It changes everything. You just have to stay focused and hang on and keep believing and keep looking forward. There are gonna be better days, and I know that it doesn't seem like it right now for a lot of those that are out there that's struggling. Because right now it's a struggle for a lot of people.
It is.
But Scripture says, Jesus says, if you suffer with me, you will reign with me.
And that's where a lot of that's where I feel like a lot of people get things like lost. Like, a lot of this prosperity doctrine is thrown out there, and you'll be prosperous, but at the end of the day, it's a certain type of, not to say you got to be out there like Job and that, but if you end up like Job and end up suffering, but it's not uncommon, especially being a child of the Most High. So I would definitely want to throw that out there as well, But I like to thank y'all. I really, really, really like to thank y'all. Today was a really, really special day to get to chop it up with Moms, because she's a busy lady doing what she does. But I really thought it was very, very important for y'all to see where I come from, and I don't take these times for granted. And so, this is the lady that had a lot to do with, raising the person you see today. And again, I'm not gonna make it seem like I'm, holier than thou or better, but at the end of the day, my mom gave me the confidence to be the young man that I am. And of course, a lot of people, it take a village to raise a child. Don't get that twisted,
still to this day.
And because at the end of the day, there was a lot of people that sowed seeds in in my life that manifested it themselves into what they are today. But thank you, Ma.
You're welcome, honey, of course, always.
Appreciate this, and if y'all like this this today's video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and if we got to bring Mama Kisa back on here again, let me know, because I think that y'all gonna really, really enjoy this, because again, it's real talking, and I don't want to go too far off in this, but our communication, it's I guess transcended into, now we're both adults. Now don't get twisted, I'm always respect her as mama, but sometimes you get she gave me some stuff like marital advice at a young age, you know what I mean, as far as things that I need to know for when I became a husband, which was like as far as like communication with your spouse, you know what I'm saying, so stuff of that nature. So just throwing that out there as well. So we talk as adults about adult stuff as two grown folks, so it doesn't change. And again, this is all from the seeds that was planted from when I was a child. So again, thank y'all, nothing but peace, blessings, and thank you for another edition of Marquis Plus 3. Signing out.
Bye.
That was dope, Mom. That was dope. I like it.